We're going to be putting together this tower. Everything that you need to do this project can be bought at any office supply store or an art store for just a few dollars. It's a great project for new and experienced crafters. Lachlan from the Zorpazorp YouTube channel is organising a community project where everyone can contribute to a portion of a Minas Tirith build that's to scale with the Lord of the Rings miniatures. After lockdown is over and we can travel across Australia, there's going to be a massive multiplayer battle with hundreds and hundreds of models on this awesome castle. He released free templates of 7 buildings that fit perfectly into Minas Tirith, and today we're going to be working on one of them. If you want to find these templates and go and download them yourself, you can find them on his website, and there is a link in the description down below. Now, if you aren't interested in making Minas Tirith, but you are interested in making generic medieval or fantasy buildings, then these still work perfectly. I printed off the templates and I cut out each piece. I'm going to be working on foam core board. This stuff is readily available. I got mine from Officeworks. I glued the cut pieces down with a glue stick, making sure to align any of the straight edges with the edges of the board to save myself some work. The next step is cutting out all of these shapes. I used a Stanley knife with a fresh blade. If you notice the foam starting to tear like this, that means that your blade isn't sharp enough, so you need to either sharpen it, or if you're using a blade like this one, just snap off the end and you're good to go. With everything cut, I'm going to peel the paper off the outside. This exposes the foam in the middle and we can add texture to that. When you buy your foam board, just make sure you're getting the stuff that is easy to peel. I bought both of these samples from the same shop. This one was a lot cheaper, but you can see when I try to peel it, it tears. Whereas this stuff peels easily in just one piece. When you go shopping, just peel a tiny bit of the corner off to make sure you're getting the right stuff. If you can't find sheets that are easy to peel, then these ones can still do the job, you just need to get it wet and rub it off with your hands. Now that we have exposed foam, we are going to add texture to it. I grabbed a rock out of my garden and rolling that over the foam, making sure to push down hard, leaves a really nice rocky texture. After doing that to every piece, I take a dead ballpoint pen and I start to draw in a brick pattern. I start around the windows and the door, drawing in arches, and then freehanding the rest of it. I'm not concerned about making this perfect, just making it look nice. Then went on to the rest of the bricks. You can make your bricks as big or small as you like. I opted for bricks on the larger side because it is a lot faster. When you're adding your bricks, you don't want to push your pen so hard that the foam tears. It's just better to do multiple lighter passes. The majority of the time that I spent on this build was on adding the texture. On the buttresses coming out from the side, I didn't add any texture yet. I wasn't sure exactly how this would fit together, so I glued them to the walls and then added the texture. This way, everything lines up nicely. To assemble all of the pieces, I just used some hot glue, and the whole build went together very quickly. Some of the pieces had developed a slight bow to them. This isn't an issue at all because gluing them together straightened them all out. The main portion of the build is completed, but we need to add a few more details. I'm going to add a dome on top. I took a styrofoam ball and I cut it in half. The styrofoam has a slight texture to it, so I covered it in some modeling paste. If you don't have anything on hand, you can get away with skipping this. If you can't find a styrofoam ball, you have 2 options. Raid your house for all the spherical objects that you can find until you find something that's the right size, or add a different kind of detail to the roof. Maybe add some railing so that guards can be placed on top. I also added in a door by cutting a rectangle of foam, scoring it with a blade to make planks, and then beveling the center with a pen. And now it is painting time. I chose white foam board specifically for this because it means I don't need to base coat anything, saving me a bunch of time. I just started with a grey that I got from mixing some black and white paint and selected a few bricks and messily brushed this on. Then I took white paint and heavily dry brushed this over the whole building. After letting that fully dry, I mixed some black paint with a bunch of water to make a wash and put it over everything. Then, finally, after letting that dry overnight, I gave the building another heavy dry brush of white. This is loosely based off the Zorpazorp stone painting guide. The dome got painted with blue mixed with some grey to desaturate it. I find the desaturated blue really fits the colour scheme of Minas Tirith, and the door got a coat of dark brown. I glued these on, again using hot glue, and the final details were adding 2 pins to the door to make door handles, and adding some black paper behind the windows to give the whole build a very clean look. Now, this project is ready to be on the streets of Minas Tirith. Following these steps will enable you to make any of the 7 buildings in the free templates. If you're interested in seeing a video on how to put together some of the other buildings, let me know in the comments. Now, these models are based on my white city bases, which will be available as soon as my website launches. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep crafting.